Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome back to Rasheedah Omalade Sule. This is September 24. Yes. And the amazing thing about this day is that we're getting closer and closer to October, and at the end of this month, because we've been going through this program, Think and Grow Rich. I've actually been going through this with a lot of people in the group, um, Elite Creators Roadmap. And if you're watching me from Elite Creators Roadmap, get ready. We're almost close to ending this thing. OMG. And I do hope that many of you are um, extracting from this because this book is just so fantastic. And if you're watching me from YouTube now, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being a part of my family. And if you're not yet a part of my family, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, hit the notification bell so anytime I come up with another amazing, amazing topic that we're going to be running through, you'll be one of the first to get it. And if you like what we're talking about today, hit the like button. And with all of that being said, if you have any comments for me, write something down in the comment section. And if you're on my Facebook, but you haven't joined a private YouTube area, it's a YouTube private area, let me know. I'll actually I'll put the link up so that you guys can be a part of our family over there as well, because we're learning a lot. This book just hits everything. It nails everything on the head. Many people say they've read this book, Think and Grow Rich. But actually, it's I don't know how, maybe they read it and just didn't apply it. Some of the workouts that you're supposed to apply, because it just changes. It changes you as a person. You know, when you realize that the results that you're getting in life are the results that you're causing, whether consciously or unconsciously. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, this, I wanted to learn more. I've heard of this book before. I've never really, you know, take the extra mile just to purchase it and really dive into it like I am right now with you all. Um, it's powerful. And the reason why I'm on here is because I know that a lot of people in the group that were not able to purchase their copy is the reason why I'm reading it to the people in the group. So crazy, because I think today is like the first time that I'm on my personal page on Facebook. Hey, everybody. You guys miss me? I miss y'all too. I miss y'all too. Okay. So today we're going to be diving into the fear of poverty. This is chapter 15, the fear of poverty. You know what? I'm going to go through this book again. I'm actually going to take another month and run this through again, because you know how what you don't know or what you think you don't know could be what's holding you back, because a lot of times we know what to do, but we just don't do it. And when we know what to do and we don't do it, but then we're looking for a change. You're looking for a sudden change. There is no sudden change. Until you're ready to change, then you change. Then you change. So I'm going to get right into this. I wrote inside the body, take inventory of yourself. As I'm going to read this with you, take inventory of yourself. Find out how many of these ghosts are standing in your way. And what do we call the ghosts? The fears that many of us have. A lot of people say they don't fear anything, but I'm going to read some of this to you. And at the end of it, I want you to write down some things that you think may be stopping you from moving forward. It's one thing for us to speak all the positive talks, and somebody here says, change your mindset, you change your life. But how do you change your mindset? And if you can be really, really truthful with yourself, are you one of those that can change your mindset by yourself, or do you need help? Or do you need accountability partners? Be truthful with yourself. Be truthful with yourself. A lot of us would feel that, oh, I'm strong enough. I can handle this. All I need to do is, pick up the book and read it, and, I'm going to make it happen. I'm disciplined like that. Many aren't. So take inventory of yourself. If you're not the type that you can make changes quickly on your own, then join groups, join masterminds. Pick up this book, have a couple of you and your friends go through them, and be each other's accountability partner. So diving right into this. And trust me, from this chapter alone, my God, we're able to learn so much. It says, before you can put any portion of this philosophy into successful use, your mind must be prepared to receive it. You have to prepare your mind that you want to learn about the fear of poverty. What causes it? Okay. It says the preparation is not difficult. It begins with study, analysis, and understanding of three enemies which you'll find or which you have to clear out. Three enemies which you'll have to clear out. These enemies are, the first one is indecision, or you're the type of person who can't make decisions, doubt, and fear. It says the sixth sense will never function while these three negatives or any of them remain in your mind. I'm getting this from the book called Think and Grow Rich. If you're able to get this book, get your hand on it. I got the classic version. It's truly been a blessing to know that many of the blames that we put on, oh, is my family member from way back when that cursed me, it's some grandmother or somebody that jinxed me. It has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with that. Nothing. So get this book. But for those of you that can't get it, that's the reason why I'm reading. It says the sixth sense will never function while these three negatives or any of them remain in your mind. And what are the three negatives? Indecision, doubt, and fear. The members of this unholy trio, I cracked up when I heard that. The members of this unholy trio are closely related. Where one is found, the other two are close at hand. Indecision is the seedling of fear. Indecision is the seedling of fear. Remember this, though. As you read, just remember this, okay? The indecision is the seedling of fear, the foundation, the seed that you plant. Indecision, not being able to make a decision, is the seedling of fear. Indecision crystallizes into doubt. So if you have indecision, it crystallizes, turns into doubt. The two blend and become fear. The blending process often is slow. This is one reason why these three enemies are so dangerous. Indecision is dangerous. Doubt is dangerous. Fear is dangerous. They germinate and grow without their presence being observed. Can you imagine something growing without you even like adding to it? It's just growing. The remainder, let me see. Okay. The purpose of this particular chapter, the purpose of this particular reading that I'm doing with you today is to turn the spotlight of attention upon the cause and the cure of the 6 basic fears. So what I'm doing today, I'm only going to take one of the fears. I'm going to talk only on the fear of poverty. The other fears, I'll talk about them later, not today, okay? Because I really want everyone to, if you're hearing the sound of my voice and what I'm saying to you interests you, or you just, just would like to know, you like to know, what is Rasheedah talking about today? The purpose of this chapter is to turn the spotlight of attention upon the cause and the cure of the 6 basic fears. So I'm treating one today, okay? Before we can master any enemy, before you can master an enemy or any of those enemies, we must know its name. You must know the name of the enemy that's not allowing you to do what you need to do. Is it doubt? Is it fear? Indecision? Procrastination? Yeah? You must know its name. You must know its name. Before we can master an enemy, before you can master an enemy, we must know its name. You know what the name is? It's habits. Habits. The things that we know and we just continue to do over and over and over again, expecting a different result. It's habit. As we go through this, we're going to analyze ourselves carefully and determine which, if any, of the 6 common fears have attached themselves to you. So you may have one of these fears and not know that it's attached to you. Do not be deceived by the habits of these subtle enemies. Don't be deceived by them. Sometimes they remain hidden in the subconscious mind, where they are difficult to locate and still more difficult to eliminate. So if you're not able to locate it and you're not able to eliminate it, wow, that means that you will just continue to do what you do, what you do, what you do. Go to church, you continue to pray, and you still seeing the same results in your life. You're not seeing anything change. It's because your habits haven't changed. Once your habit change, then the results that you get will change. But till then, nothing changes. Sometimes they remain hidden, like I said, in the subconscious mind, where they are difficult to locate and still more difficult to eliminate. So the 6 basic fears, I'm just going to read them out. But like I said, today I'm treating the fear of poverty. The first one is the fear of poverty. The second one is the fear of criticism. The third is the fear of ill health. And then we have the fear of old age. We have the fear of death. And then we have the fear of loss of love of someone. All other fears are of minor importance. They can be grouped under these 6 headings. The prevalence of these fears as a curse to the world runs in cycles. For almost 6 years, while the Depression was on, we floundered in the cycle of fear of poverty. During the World War, we were in the cycle of fear of death. Now, hear this. When I was reading this, I was literally almost shaken because it tells me that history repeats itself. During the World War, okay, the World War, people at that time were in the cycle of the fear of death. Just following the war, we were in the cycle of fear of ill health. And right here, I marked it because when 9/11 happened, people were scared crapless. They were so afraid. We thought everywhere we went, there was like major roads or major anything, the fear of death kept coming in. We were afraid. For those of you who don't know, I was a part of 9/11. So for a long time, anxiety, it was crazy. And then following, it says the fear of ill health. After that, we had all this Ebola scare, so many of the scare, right? And then after that, can we talk about the one that we're, sort of kind of praying to God to get us through? Corona. And then after that, then we have, get your shot. You don't have your shot. I'm not getting a shot. I don't want the injection. Just following the war, we were in the cycle of fear of ill health. People falling sick, as evidenced by the epidemic of disease, which spread itself all over the world. Corona was everywhere. Fears are nothing more than a state of mind, they said. But we know that a lot of people that were fear crapless, one state of mind is subject to control the direction. I'm going to read this story only because I want you guys to really think about it. Physicians, as everyone knows, are less subject to attack by disease than ordinary laymen. A doctor, as everyone knows, are less subject to attack by disease in ordinary laymen for the reason that physicians do not fear disease. They have no fear for disease, not at all. I hope you guys are hearing me clearly. Not at all. No fear of disease. Physicians without fear or hesitation have been known to physically contact hundreds of people daily who were suffering from such contagious diseases as smallpox without becoming affected or infected. Their immunity against the disease consisted largely, if not solely, in their absolute lack of fear. So because they did not fear it, I guess they were not impacted. That was something to think about. I had to sit down for a minute and be like, I had to really think about that for a minute because it's true. Man can create nothing which he does not first conceive in the form of an impulse of thought. Man can create nothing. Man can create nothing which he does not first conceive. That's why my mentor said we things are birthed twice. First is birthed in your head. Then you either draw it out or write it out. Then it's created and birthed again. Like artists, they think about things in their mind before they begin to draw. They see it in their mind first. It is conceived here first, and then they begin to draw. Architects, before they put pen to paper, they have it in their mind. They see it. They see it. Following this comes another of still greater importance. Namely, man's thought impulses begin immediately to translate themselves into their physical equivalent, whether those thoughts are voluntarily or not, or involuntary. So this is to say, whatever you think about, you bring about. Whether you volunteer or you don't volunteer, whether you want it to happen or you don't want it to happen, it's your thought. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Because whatever you're thinking is going to come. It's going to come to pass. It's going to get birthed. What are you thinking? If you're a networker, hi, my network peeps. Are you in sales? Those are two: sales, network marketing, all of that. Love. And you're not doing well, or you're not hitting your quotas, you need to get this book. You need to get this book. I'm not even going to tell you, oh, come join my mastermind, come be a part of my group. No. Get the book. Force yourself to have time. Discipline yourself to have time to study this book. Do what this book says to do. And the reason why I'm saying this is because all of my days, we will hear, read this book by this person, read this, do that, do this. And by the time you stand up from either the conference or where they were telling you what worked for them, by the time you even get up, you done forgot. And you don't do nothing. And at the end of the day, you continue to get the same results. Reading this book, reading it from Genesis to Revelation, from beginning to the end, reading it, that's not what's going to get you the results that you're looking for. What's going to get you the results that you're looking for is when you literally internalize it. When you begin to do what it says do. That's why these days I don't say knowledge is power. Knowledge, yeah, it's power. It's out there somewhere. It's power. But the application of it, you just gave me, I'm giving you information. If you use the information, then it becomes powerful too. If you don't use the information, then it's just information. Check. I got that. Check. That's it. That's it. Thought impulses, which are picked up through the ether by mere chance, thoughts which have been released by other minds, may determine one's financial future, one's business, a professional and social destiny, just as surely as do the thought impulses which one creates by intent and design. Your thoughts are powerful. Only if you know how powerful you are. You're welcome. Your thoughts are powerful. And I know that in this day and age, you're hearing it over and over and over. Mindset, my thoughts, my mind, I have power, I have this, I have that. And you try hard to really use it and try to make a difference in your life, but it just seems that it's not working as everybody is saying it should. It's because there's so many other things that you need to do on a continual basis. Not just I said it. It's easier to plant the seed than to change the habit that you've been so accustomed to for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. I remember some people, just because they're 60 something, I'm too old to change. It's either you take it or leave. I'm too old to change. It's okay. It means that you don't want to change. It means that you're very, very okay where you are, which is fine. This is not to change anybody. This is just to tell you that there are information out there. There are tools out there that can give you the life after reading it, that can give you the life that you've been so longing for. Is one thing. I mean, we read the Bible and you read the story of so many people. You read the story of Saul and Paul and Samson and Adam and Eve. We read all of these stories, right? And it's cool. But you need to know that there's nothing new under the sun. And whatever it is that you are experiencing, someone who is now living their best life have experienced it before and have gone through some things and have done some things that they have sat down and picked up a pen and started writing down how they got through those things so that the next person will be able to pick up a book and help themselves. They've done their part. They've written what helped them through it, what got them through it. How did they become who they are right now? I get it. Not everybody wants to be a millionaire or a billionaire or trillionaire. Because they can say that all day long, doesn't mean that, it moves you. You can't be bothered by that. But are you one of the people that I know that would love to wake up and not have to think about bills? You don't have to think about debt. It's taken care of. You don't take care of that. You don't want to think about, I have to wake up and clock in at 9 o'clock to somebody's watch. Are you one of the people that you just want to get up? You want to be able to create your life, create your day. What type of day would you want to have? A day where maybe you're laying in bed. The chef is already up in the morning, early morning, making your breakfast. You eating breakfast in bed, or the life where your coach, gym coach, knocks at your door. He's going to be there at 7 o'clock, 6:40, 6:45, your alarm hits and you jump up and you putting your gym clothes on because you want to look good for your coach. And your coach come inside, you have a gym area downstairs in your basement. Your coach is coming to you. You're not going to the gym. Because I know some people who would love that life. I'm getting there. Coach gonna wake me up in the morning and we downstairs doing, we in the gym doing our thing, my own personal coach. And after that, you got the chef also making breakfast. Chef making breakfast, real good breakfast. Not that stuff that we eat real quickly and then it turns to another 5-10 pounds. Chef making real good food. After you and your coach are done, did 1 hour, put in 1 hour of gym, coach leaves. Thank you, coach. You're getting a shower. You're probably getting a steamer. Steam yourself first and then take a shower. After you finish taking a shower, you get all dressed up and nicely smelling good. And then you go upstairs, eat breakfast. What's your day like? You got to be that vivid with what you would love for your day to be like. What do you want? We ask people this question and they still don't know. You want to party every weekend? You want to have great relationship with amazing, productive people? You don't want friends that are not adding value to you. You want to be around people that add value to you. You want to do lunch. You want to be in Atlanta. Maybe you take a flight to New York to go do lunch with your girlfriend. People are living that life. And many people that are living that life have gone through this book. And they have used this book so let me get back into reading this. So my first question to you is, what type of life do you want? If you were given a check, an open check, to write down the amount of money that you want, how would you know what you need if you haven't sat down to write down the type of life that you really want? You got to prepare for these things. Preparation. When you're prepared and the preparation meets the opportunity, would that be great? Okay. Be prepared. Get a pen, get a paper, and write down exactly. Don't think of where you're coming from. Think of where you're going. Don't allow your past fears. Don't allow whatever it is that happened to you yesterday, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, stop you from what you're able to gain in your future. What you've been thinking about, what's been haunting you all these years, is what's been keeping you right where you are. And you know it. You think about it. You know it. But who you going to tell? And you know it's painful. You cry about it. You have headaches about it. But who are you going to tell that understands? And then how does that make you look when you now put your business out there? That's what many people are thinking. But only if you knew. There's a lot of help. There's a lot of help out there. Well, let me not say a lot, because I've been around the block a couple of times, and there's a lot of people out there that say they can help. But there's this amazing, I tell you, it's amazing. I mean, I ain't old, but I ain't young, and I've been around, and I tell you, I've seen some courses, I've seen some lessons, I've seen some, what they call thinking into results is just fantastic. And I'm going to go ahead and continue to read for my people that are out of the country. So your mind, your thought, it determines your finances. It determines your business, whether it's going to be successful. It determines your social aspect in life, and even your destiny. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read the other one that was talking about presentation of a fact of great importance to the person who does not understand why people appear to be lucky. When I read this, I was like, wow. Some people will call, they will look at other people, they'll be like, oh my gosh, she's just lucky. She's lucky. While others of equal or greater ability, training, experience, and brain capacity seem destined to ride with misfortune. I'm going to read that one more time. Laying the foundation for the presentation of a fact of great importance to the person who does not understand why some people appear to be lucky, while others of equal or greater ability, training, experience, and brain capacity seemed destined to ride with misfortune. This fact may be explained by the statement that every human being has the ability to completely control his own mind. And with this control, obviously, every person may open his mind to the tramp thought impulses which are being released by other brains, or close just close the doors tightly and admit only thought impulses of his own choice. Meaning, saying, where you at is because of your thoughts. The results that you're getting is because of your thoughts. What you are experiencing is because of your thoughts. Nature has endowed men with absolute control over but one thing, and that is thought. This fact, coupled with additional fact that everything which man creates begins in the form of a thought. Everything that you create, everything, it begins with a thought. It begins with a thought. Leads one very near to the principle by which fear may be mastered. Yeah? If it is true that all thought has a tendency to clothe itself in its physical equivalent, and this is true beyond any reasonable room for doubt, it is equally true that thought, impulses of fear and poverty cannot be translated into terms of courage and financial gain. The people of America begin to think of poverty. Can you imagine? The people of America begin to think of poverty following the Wall Street crash in 1929. When I heard this, I thought about the crash of 9/11 because we were in Wall Street. That's where we were. Talk about history repeating itself. The people of America began to think of poverty following the Wall Street crash of 1929. Slowly but surely, that mass thought was crystallized into its physical equivalent, which was known as a depression. This had to happen. It is in conformity with the laws of nature. It's in conformity with the law of nature. We need to be careful of what we are planting in our minds. If you're married and all you think about is the negative, you don't know whether that man going through some stuff. You're not trying to find out what he's going through. Maybe you ask and he's not explaining. The next thing for you to do is not to think that he's doing the worst, unless you know, unless you've seen and you know that's what it is. Knowing and thinking that you know is different. The next thing is not for you to think that and to plant it. Because once it's planted, begin to reject that thing. If you don't reject it, it is growing, it's germinating. You own a business and you're doing all that you know that you should do, but it's just not working out. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Because a lot of times we feel like if we don't say it out loud, but we think it within ourselves, it's not going to happen. Like our internal is some type of secret. It's not a secret. Remember, you are a spirit having a human experience. You are a spirit having a human experience. So being a spirit, when you think something, You can't hide it from yourself. So what you think begins to manifest out. It begins to water that thought. So when something negative happens, immediately reject it. When you think of anything negative concerning your business, your marriage, your relationship, reject it. Your health, reject it. Reject it. Because if you don't reject it, that means that you've planted it. It means that you've planted it. So we're going to go into the fear of poverty. I'm telling you, this thing is so powerful. I know it's going to go long. So if you want to go and then come back and watch, you can. But this one is going to, I really have to nail this down. Like, this thing is powerful. And I know it's going to be a blessing to so many people out there once you guys have the patience to watch it. Okay? The fear of poverty. There can be no compromise between poverty and riches. There can be no compromise between poverty and riches. What makes one person rich and another person poor? Many of us make excuses. The two roads that lead to poverty and riches travel in opposite directions. Travel in opposite direction. If you want riches, you must refuse to accept any circumstance that leads toward poverty. You can't even think of poverty. You can't even hang out with people that think poverty. You can't. If you want riches, you must refuse to accept any circumstance that leads towards poverty. The word riches is here used in its broadest sense, meaning financial, spiritual, mental, and material estates. Okay, so don't think that riches is just money. So when we say riches, we're saying financial, spiritual, mental, and material, everything. The starting point of the path that leads to riches is desire. The starting point of the path that leads to riches is desire. Remember, the broadest sense of riches is your financial, your spiritual, your mental, and your material. In chapter 2 of this book, you receive full instructions for the proper use of desire. Are you feeling sick? Remember, are you feeling sick? Do you desire to be well? Are you going through certain things in your relationship, your marriage? Do you desire that to be well? Are you experiencing things in your business? Do you desire that to be well? Who do you desire? On fear, you have complete instructions for preparing your mind to make practical use of desire. So desire is in chapter 2 of the book. Fear of poverty is in chapter 15. Me personally, if you get this book, read chapter 15 first, because that will take care of your fears, right? By the time you now go back to read this book from the beginning, or you go to desire, you will have such a desire for the instructions given to you of the things that you need to do in order to give you the abundance that belongs to you. You know, as a Christian, they say that the enemy comes to kill, steal, and to destroy. The enemy is not coming for your physical house. He don't care for your $1 million crib, your $5 million crib. He don't care for your Maybach. He don't care for your Rolls Royce. That's not what this enemy cares about. Because the biggest thing that he can take from you, and he can't take it unless you give it to him. Because once he takes this, it's a wrap. It's a what? It's a wrap. You can't even think for yourself. You can't even figure out what you want to do in life. If he takes your house, that's just your house. You knew how you did 1, 2, 3 in order to get that house. If he takes the house away from you, you get another house. If he steals anything from you, you get another one. But this brain, your mind, how you get another one? You don't get another one of that. He didn't just screw up your house or just take your car from you. It has screwed up your life. And what really screws up the mind that we call the enemy is the unholy trio. Unholy trio. Indecision, doubt, fear. Okay, so let me get into this. It's man. If y'all don't have this book already, I already know people in my group have it. You need to get it. You need to get, I'm not giving y'all no links. You go on Amazon, you order the book. This is me giving back. Because when I read things like this and my body, my vibration is on another level, it means that it's something that I need to give so that we can all help each other get to where we really want to be. And how can we do that if we're not truthful with ourselves? We need to be truthful with ourselves. You need to know that there's an issue somewhere, because if you move from a job that's paying you $50,000 and now you're at a job that's paying you $150,000 and you're still getting the same results in your life, and there's no reason why you wouldn't get the same results. Because certain things that are so habitual, that needs to be changed or that needs to be replaced. Let me say that. That needs to be replaced. If those things are not taken care of, you can be making $1 million. The habits are still going to kick in. And to tell you the truth, you may not even be able to make the $1 million. Have you ever sat down and wondered why people that win a lotto, give them 3, 4 years, it's like they run right through it? Habits. I mean, common sense. You get an accountant, you get lawyer, you get all of that, but your habits will still kick in and still bring you right back to the level of where you were, if not worse than before. That's what the paradigms do to you. That's what habits do to you. That's what not replacing or not replacing what needs to be replaced do to you. Okay, so here then is the place to give yourself a challenge, which will definitely determine how much of this philosophy you have observed. Here is the point at which you can turn prophet and foretell accurately what the future holds in store for you. If after reading this chapter, you are willing to accept poverty, you may as well make up your mind to receive poverty. After I finish reading this with you, and you still want to be the same, you still want to remain the same, you still want to think the same, you still want to live the same, then that means that you have accepted not your fate, but you've accepted poverty. You've received poverty. This is one decision you can avoid. If you demand riches, determine what form and how much will be required to satisfy you. Remember when I say take pen to paper? Write down what you want, the life you want. Don't think of nobody else. How far, how big, how would you like to live? What type of house would you like? Write it down in detail. What type of cars would you like? Don't let nobody lie to you and say, oh, those are material things. I don't see nobody going after, I don't see nobody going after people living in the streets saying, I want to follow you. I want to do what you do. Nobody does that. But when you see people driving a nice car, live in a nice house, something jumps in you like, wow, I want to live this comfortably. I'm not talking about, I want to live this nice. Everybody wants to live nice. And everybody has the opportunity to live nice. You have everything that it takes within you to live the way you want to live. So get a pen to paper. Let's not think any foolishness and get a pen to paper and write down how you want to live. Don't feel guilt. Don't feel guilty. Why would you feel guilty? I was telling someone the other day, I said, if you're a Christian, go into Revelation and go see how God is living in heaven. Trust me, he is not a bum up there. Your Father, who is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the source that gave you himself. Have you ever seen they call somebody king who's a bum? You don't see that. He's a king. You don't see that. Kings, how are they living? So when you say your father's a king of kings, how is he living? How are you supposed to live? Don't let nobody lie to you and say poverty living or living less than is something that you should have joy in or find joy in or be pleased in. Because the last time I read the Bible, he says he died so that we may have life. And have that life in what? Abundance. Why aren't you living in abundance? Is there? Abundance is everywhere. Abundance is everywhere. And he wants you to have it. But the limiting beliefs that's been passed on to many is what we hold on to. And we call that truth. How is that truth? If you're broke and you ain't got no money, how you gonna take care of somebody? How you gonna send somebody to school? How you gonna be a mentor to somebody? How you gonna be a blessing to somebody? How are you going to build schools or build hospitals? Like people like Oprah Winfrey. Like people like look at Andrew Carnegie. Look at what that guy did. Henry Ford, creators in the house. The guy with the level of education, which really wasn't much. We're still driving Ford cars today and Ford Jeeps today. They were stinking millionaires, but they didn't allow it to get to their heads. So the ones that you're probably seeing are the ones who probably allow it to get to their heads, and they're living such crazy life that you're like, no. So don't knock them. Look at the good ones. Look out for the real good ones. Look out for good ones. Yeah. All right. Let me run through this real good. This is one decision you cannot avoid. If you demand riches, determine what form and how much you will be required to satisfy you. You know the road that leads to riches. You have been given a roadmap which, if followed, will keep you on that road. If you neglect to make the start or stop before you arrive, no one will be to blame but you. This responsibility is yours. Your responsibility is yours. If after you read this book and after you listen to the sound of my voice, you still decide that I like the way I am, then hey, fantastic. But this is for the people who, in their life, they want to make some type of change. They yearn for something more. This is for you. Okay? No alibi will save you from accepting the responsibility if you now fail or refuse to demand riches of life. Because the acceptance calls for but one thing, incidentally, the only thing you can control, and that is your state of mind. That is your state of mind. That's the only thing that you can control. A state of mind is something that one assumes it cannot be purchased. That's it. It must be created. It cannot be purchased. It must be created. Fear of poverty. Fear of poverty is a state of mind. Nothing else. It's a state of mind. So if you're watching me from a different country and you're literally going through some things, get into your happy place in your mind. Begin to imagine that which you want, where you want to be, what you want to be doing. Fear of poverty is a state of mind, nothing else. But it is sufficient to destroy one's chances of achievement in any undertaking. A truth which became painfully evident during the Depression, meaning that though is a state of mind, if you now choose this state of mind, which is poverty, it is able to destroy everything for you. This fear paralyzes the faculty of reason. It destroys the faculty of imagination. It kills off self-reliance. It undermines enthusiasm. It discourages initiatives. It leads to uncertainty of purpose. It encourages procrastination. It wipes out enthusiasm and makes self-control an impossibility. It takes the charm from one's personality. This is poverty. It takes the charm from one's personality. It destroys the possibility of accurate thinking. It diverts concentration of effort. It masters persistence, turns the willpower into nothingness. It destroys ambition. It beclouds the memory and invites failure in every conceivable form. It kills love and assassinates the finer emotions of the heart. It discourages friendship and invites disaster in 100 forms. It leads to sleeplessness, misery, and unhappiness. And all this despite the obvious truth that we live in a world of overabundance, of everything the heart could desire, with nothing standing between us and our desires, excepting lack of a definite purpose. If you cannot accept that you have a purpose, that means you are accepting poverty. The fear of poverty is, without doubt, the most destructive of the 6 basic fears. It has been placed at the head of the list because it is the most difficult to master. Oh, yeah, most difficult to master. Most difficult to master. The fear of poverty grew out of man's inherited tendency to prey upon his fellow men economically. My goodness, my goodness. My goodness, my goodness. Oh Lord, the fear of poverty grew. Let me read this. Considerable courage is required to state the truth about the origin of this fear, and still greater courage to accept the truth after it has been stated. The fear of poverty grew out of man's inherited tendency to prey upon his fellow men economically. Nearly all animals lower than man are motivated by instinct, but their capacity to think is limited. Therefore, they prey upon one another physically. Animals ain't got no sense, is what this is saying. So they prey on each other. But man with superior sense of intuition, with the capacity to think and to reason, does not eat his fellow man bodily. He gets more satisfaction out of eating him financially. If y'all ain't got this book, if you are not in a group where you can grow and discipline yourself, you're accepting whatever it is that you have going on right now. Many people that are working a job, do you understand that 2020, a lot of people that were laid off? And I'm saying that lightly. There's nothing wrong with working your job while it's paying your bills. But use the money that you're working on that job, that you're getting from the job, use that to invest in yourself to do amazing things. Because if you don't do that, and then boom, suddenly your $150,000 a year gone. $250,000 a year gone. As long as the company still have a need for you, you get paid. The moment there's no need for you, you're out the door. Then what do you have? Man is so avaricious that every conceivable law has been passed to safeguard him from his fellow man. Of all the ages of the world, of which we know anything, the age in which we live seems to be one that is outstanding because of man's money madness. And this right here is for the people that money has become their life. Like they will do anything. That ain't the riches we're talking about here. That's not the riches we're talking about here. We're talking about the one that surpasses all understanding, the peace that you get with your money. We're not talking about we're not talking about the madness. A man is considered less than the dust of the earth unless he can display a fat bank account. But if he has money, never mind how he acquired it, he's the king or he's the big shot. He is above the law. He rules in politics. He dominates in business, and the whole world about him bows in respect when he passes. That made me think about somebody just now, but I ain't gonna say no names. Nothing brings man so much suffering and humility as poverty. Only those who have experienced poverty understand the full meaning of this. It is no wonder that men fears poverty. Through a long line of inherited experiences, men has learned for sure that some men cannot be trusted. Where matters of money and earthly possessions are concerned, this is a rather stinging indictment, the worst part of it being that it is true. The majority of marriages are motivated by the wealth possessed by one or both of the contracting parties. It is no wonder, therefore, that the divorce courts are busy. Hello, this book was written in 1929. Are we still not experiencing the same things? So eager is man to possess wealth that he will acquire it in whatever manner he can, through legal methods if possible, through other methods if necessary or expedient. So this is self-analysis. Self-analysis may disclose weaknesses which one does not like to acknowledge. This form of examination is essential to all who demand of life more than mediocrity and poverty. Remember, as you check yourself from point to point, that you are both the court and the jury. You're the prosecuting attorney and the attorney for the defense, and that you are the plaintiff and the defendant. Also, that you are on trial. Face the facts squarely. Ask yourself definite questions and demand direct replies. When the examination is over, you will know more about yourself. If you do not feel that you can be an impartial judge in this self-examination, call upon someone who knows you well to serve as judge while you cross-examine yourself. Because you are after the truth. If you're truly after the truth, then you'll tell yourself the truth when you do this cross-examination for yourself. Get it, no matter at what cost, even though it may temporarily embarrass you. Get it, because we have some ways, we have things inside of us that we try to hide. We try to hide them. Sometimes you try to hide it from yourself, but you know it's there. The majority of people, if asked what they fear most, will reply, I fear nothing. That reply would be inaccurate because few people realize that they are bound, handicapped, whipped. We call it whipped spiritually and physically through some form of fear. You are so whipped spiritually and physically through some form of fear. And that's what us spiritual churches will call, he is bound, has a strong hold over his life. You say stronghold. How would you feel if you knew that you can get rid of that stronghold? You can get rid of it if you knew how to, right? Okay. The reply would be inaccurate because few people realize that they are bound, handicapped, whipped spiritually, physically through some form of fear. So subtle and deeply seated is the emotion. Subtle and deeply rooted and seated is emotions. The emotion of fear that one may go through life burdened with it. Okay? Never recognizing its presence. Only a courageous analysis will disclose the presence of this universal enemy. When you begin such an analysis, search deeply into your character. Here is a list of the symptoms for which you should look. For which you should look. These are some of the symptoms of fear. Indifference, commonly expressed through lack of ambition. Willingness to tolerate poverty. You'll be surprised. Some of the people that you know, some of the people that you hang out with, they okay. Have you realized that the moment you want to do something different or be different, they be like, she thinks she all that. She thinks she all that. She thinks she all that. She always talking some stuff. Don't talk negative around me. Don't do this. Don't do that. What she think? Some people are willing. They're okay. They're okay with poverty. They're fine. Acceptance of whatever compensation life may offer without protest. Mental and physical laziness. Lack of initiative, imagination, enthusiasm, and self-control. That's the indifference. The second one is indecision, the habit of permitting others to do one's thinking. Oh, hey girl, you want to do this? Oh, let me ask my dad first. Let me ask, well, if you're under 18. Hey girl, you need to think about this opportunity. It's fantastic. You can't decide on nothing. You want water? Well, I'm not sure whether water, maybe juice. Oh, maybe some soda. I'm not really sure. Do you know what that does to the mind? The habit of permitting others to do one's thinking, staying on the fence. Doubt is the third. Symptom of fear of poverty, doubt. Generally expressed through alibis and excuses designed to cover up, explain away, or apologize for one's failures, sometimes expressed in the form of envy of those who are successful or by criticizing them. I'm going to tell you one thing. If you get nothing from what I'm telling you today, never ever criticize somebody who has money. Ain't your business the way they got it. It's not your business, not your problem. Whether they stole it, whether it ain't your business. But do not criticize anyone that has money, that has what you want. Because you want that. You want it. You may not want it the way they got it, but you want it. It's all energy. It's all a spirit. Okay. Worry. Worry is the fourth thing. Usually expressed by finding fault with others. A tendency to spend beyond one's income, neglect of personal appearance. You don't take care of yourself because you're so worried about something. Scrolling and frowning. Always frowning. Intemperance in the use of alcoholic drink, sometimes through the use of narcotics, nervousness, lack of poise, self-consciousness, and lack of self-reliance. Now, the fifth one is overcaution. The habit of looking for the negative side of every circumstance. Oh my God, you got people like that in your life. Instead of them always seeing the positive, they just always see the negative. They would never compliment you on the positive. It's always the negative. Thinking and talking of possible failure instead of concentrating upon the means of succeeding. Knowing all the roads to disaster, but never searching for the plans to avoid the failure. Be careful if you have people like that in your life. Stop talking about the problem. What's the solution? Let's get the solution. Leave the problem alone. We got it. We got the problem. Don't bring us back to the problem. What's the solution? What's the solution? Knowing all the roles of disasters, who they are. They're always waiting for the right time to begin putting ideas and plans into action until the waiting becomes a permanent habit. Remembering those who have failed and forgetting those who have succeeded. Over caution. Seeing the hole in the donut, but overlooking the donut. They don't ever see anything half full. It's always empty, half empty. Pessimism leading to indigestion, poor elimination, auto intoxication, bad breath, and bad disposition. The sixth thing is procrastination. Procrastination, the habit of putting off until tomorrow that which should have been done last year. Spending enough time in creating alibis and excuses to have done the job. This symptom is closely related to overcaution, doubt, and worry. Refusal to accept responsibility when it can be avoided. Willingness to compromise rather than put up a stiff fight. Compromising with difficulties instead of harnessing and using them as stepping stones to advancement. Bargaining with life for a penny instead of demanding. Oh my God, have to highlight this one. You're bargaining with life for pennies instead of demanding prosperity, opulence, riches, contentment, and happiness. This is the abundance that if you're still breathing, if you're still hearing what I'm saying, that's what was promised to you. That is your birthright. That's your birthright. Your birthright is you demanding prosperity. Your birthright is opulence, riches. That's your birthright. Contentment and happiness. That's your birthright. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and to destroy, taking your birthright away from you, making you think that you have to struggle, making you think you have to work so doggone hard. Everything that I just read to you, it's your birthright. You got to demand it. You got to demand it. You got to demand it. If I did not go through oh Lord, I wouldn't have known. Even though certain things you know here and there, you always think that you read so you're ahead of the game, but there's so much more that you don't know. That if you knew an inch of it, it would change your life 360 degrees. Planning what to do if and when overtaken by failure, instead of burning all bridges and making retreat impossible. When you burn all bridges, that means you know your purpose. You know what you're here for. Nothing else matters. You're going for it. Nothing else matters. Burn all the bridges. Not if I fail, Why? Why you gotta fail? Why? If you don't get it the first time, that's a lesson learned. You don't get it the second time, that's another lesson learned. Third time, that's another lesson learned. Con Edison didn't say he failed 10,000 times. No. He says, I found out 10,000 ways that the light wouldn't work. That's all. That's all. Yeah? Planning what to do if and when overtaken by failure, instead of burning all bridges and making retreat impossible. Weakness of and often total lack of self-confidence. Total lack of self-confidence. How can you have self-confidence when you don't even know who you are? Because somebody told you that your nose is big. Somebody said your eyes are brown. Somebody said you're so skinny. Might say, you're so fat. Oh my God, you're so black. Oh my God, you're so white. Oh my God, her ears are huge. And the reason why, and I know why, when it was said, it hurt you so much. The reason why is because of the person that said it to you. The people that you thought you could trust. The people that are supposed to know you more. The people that were supposed to protect you. When they are the ones that say such to you, it's a whole nother level. It begins to ring in your subconscious over and over and over. You sleep and you thinking it over and over and over. Do you know that what they said to you that's being played in your subconscious over and over, do you know that that has kept you at a particular level in life? Kept you at that level. I can't do this conversation and say, oh, get over it. Let it go. Don't think about it. No. It has to be a more intimate setting. It has to be a more setting where you actually are able to think far back to when all of that happened to you. And you're able to forgive and let go. Because until you do that, there's no moving forward. There's no moving forward. And you don't want to remain the same. Because not being happy, not experiencing abundance in every area of your life, so poverty mindset doesn't necessarily have to say that you're poor in all areas. You can have a lot of money, but certain things you are still be poor in that area. But the abundance is for you to be rich in every area. Yeah? Okay. So, moving right along. This symptom is closely related to overcaution, doubt, and worry. Compromising with difficulties instead of harnessing and using them as stepping stones to advancement. Expecting poverty instead of demanding riches. Association with those who accept poverty instead of seeking the company of those who demand and receive riches. When I read that, then I thought about, Rasheedah, show me who you hang out with, and I'll let you know literally around how much you're making. Who's your friend? Who you hanging with? Because iron sharpen iron. If I'm the richest amongst my friends, and I try my best to, let them know, hey, ladies, we can do this, we can do that. But they're not there yet. You can't force them. You let them. You can't force nobody. You see something. What you see is for you. When you try to tell other people about it and they just can't catch that vision, don't try to get them to catch it. They're not there yet. It's okay. They may get there later, but right now, they're not there yet. Even if it's guys. And the craziest thing is men are able to jump on things so much quicker. You see this opportunity, you see that opportunity. A guy would jump on that so quick, and they will help themselves too. But women, so many of us are so indecisive. We just can't decide. And we need to. We need to. That's why we going through, oh, we need a woman president. We need this, we need that. The problem with a lot of the guys is that they feel like women can't make decisions. We're too sentimental is what they say, which is not true, by the way. All right, let me run through this real quick. Money talks. Some would ask, why did you write a book about money? So they're asking, because when you tell people to read this, the first thing that goes to their mind is riches. Think and grow rich. Think and grow rich. Do I really want to be rich? When they think of rich, when they hear that word rich, something happens. Something triggers something. Instead of them to get excited, it doesn't really get them excited. It doesn't really get them excited. And the reason why it doesn't get you excited, I'm going to let you know. Is that some will ask, why did you write a book about money? Why measure riches in dollars alone? Some will believe rightly so, and rightly so, that there are other forms of riches more desirable than money. And we know, yeah, yeah, most definitely. There's certain things in our life that money cannot buy. But listen to what he says. Yes, there are riches which cannot be measured in terms of dollars. This is his answer. But there are millions of people who will say, give me all the money I need, and I will find everything else I want. Give me all the money I need, and I will find everything else that I want. The major reason why I wrote this book on how to get money is the fact that the world has but lately passed through an experience that left millions of men and women paralyzed with the fear of poverty. Oh my God. Isn't that what we're experiencing right now? Isn't that what many are experiencing right now? With what we had just gone through, 2020, and some still going through it? Isn't that what we're experiencing? So this is why he wrote this book, Napoleon Hill. And this is why I'm reading this book to you. We've become a world that do not want to read. We don't want to read. We've become a generation of people who don't want to read. The saying still goes that readers are leaders. When you have a problem and there's tools out there that can solve that problem, but in your lifetime, the tools was right next to your bed or it's inside your library, but you never took the opportunity to take the tools. Never had the opportunity, never took the opportunity to take the tools and read it so you can do better, so you can be better, so you can be wise. But then you pass on and you're being asked on the other side, how come you never had such amazing life? Well, you know that. You know that. I pray to you every day. I fasted and did everything. And God, that's not right. That world was not. And then God now shows you a message that you listened to today. The book that I told you to get. I didn't only tell you to get it. I told you to internalize it. I told you to do what it says to do. Because knowledge is power, but the application of that knowledge is more powerful. You applying this to your life is more powerful. Not just this, though. This book is the beginning there is DM me. Just DM me. Let me not even just DM me. If you're really, really, really interested, just DM me. Because just DM me. The major reason why I wrote this book on how to get money is the fact that the world has but lately passed through an experience that left millions of men and women paralyzed with the fear of poverty. What this sort of fear does to one was well described by Westbrook Pagler in the New York World Telegram. Money is only calm shells or metal discs or scraps of paper. And there are treasures of the heart and soul, which money cannot buy. But most people, being broke, are unable to keep this in mind and sustain their spirits. So it says, when a man is down, hold on one second. I'm sorry about that. I had a quick, it says, when a man is down and out and on the street, unable to get any job at all, something happens to his spirit. So when a lot of people are saying, it's not just about the money, it's not just about the money. If I gave you $1 million, would you return it back to me? Remember earlier when I said you get a open check? If I gave you an open check, write any amount you want. And then you go write $3,000 because that's what you need to pay your mortgage. Or you go write $800 because that's what you need to pay your rent. Where you going to get the money for the next month? How your family going to eat the next month? It says, and after this, I'm going to stop right here. Money is only calm shells or metal discs or scraps of paper, and there are treasures of the heart and soul which money cannot buy, which is true. But most people, being broke, are unable to keep this in mind and sustain their spirits. When a man is down and out and on the street, unable to get any job at all, something happens to his spirit, which can be observed in the droop of his shoulders, the set of his hat, his walk, and his gaze. He cannot escape a feeling of inferiority complex among people with regular employment, even though he knows they are definitely not his equal in character, intelligence, or in ability. These people, even his friends, feel, on the other hand, a sense of superiority and regard him, perhaps unconsciously or as a casualty. He may borrow for a time, but not enough to carry on in his accustomed way. And he cannot continue to borrow very long. But borrowing in itself, when a man is borrowing merely to live, is a depressing experience. And the money lacks the power of earned money to revive his spirit. Of course, none of this applies to bums or habitual near duels, but only to men of normal ambitions and self-respect. So for a man that has self-respect within himself, a man that is an ambitious man and can't get a job, ain't got no money, he got to borrow for some time just to live. Who he is dies. His spirit dies. So please, I am just saying, for those who are interested in doing something for humanity. But before doing for humanity, first of all, do for yourself. Let's get our act together. Let's check ourselves. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to write down the self analysis, because it's a bit. Or you can get this book and do it. But for those who cannot get the book, because of you reading this right now, I'm going to do the test questions, the self-analysis test questions. I'm going to put it somewhere for you, and you can copy it and do that. And or you can just look through your phone or look at your computer and just answer the questions. And when you do that, be truthful. Like it said, be the judge and the jury and the plaintiff attorney and the defense attorney. Judge yourself. You may not like what you see, what you find out, but that's okay. Because what happens then is that you know exactly what you need to change. You know exactly what you need to replace. But I'm here in order to help you, because I had struggles. I had struggles for a while because I couldn't figure out what was making me get the same results over and over again. Oh, I'm a good person. I'm this, I'm that, and the third. But I was still getting these results. I had no idea it was my habitual way of thinking and some habits that I had. And at that time, I wasn't, they told me to change the habits. I probably wasn't even interested. But I got to a place in my life where what I wanted is more important to me. And the results of what I wanted to see was very important to me. And when I did this test, I realized that what we call habits, if you're not careful, it can make you or break you. It can make you or break you. It definitely tells you how much income you're making, and you'll be able. So when you want to move from a certain amount of money to a certain amount of money, then you need some type of guidance. If you don't have that, all the stuff we're saying here, I want to say thank you so much for taking your time to watch me. Today's Friday. Have an amazing weekend, everyone. And we'll see you again Monday. Take care. Bye.